Okay, let's go through and list some functions that are continuous everywhere in their domains. And you're going to notice this is really going to be a list of kind of the functions you learn in algebra or pre-calculus. So polynomials are always continuous on their domains. Rational functions, which are just polynomials divided by polynomials. Their domain may not be everything, but everywhere where it is defined, it is continuous. Root functions and so radical functions, absolute value functions, exponential functions, and logarithmic functions, the trig functions, and the inverse trig functions, okay, really everything you've learned about are continuous on their domain. And the reason algebra and everything kind of focuses on these functions is that there are a lot of theorems that come along with being continuous functions, and they're nice functions, and many real-world examples involve continuous functions. Now, places where we're not necessarily continuous, and this doesn't mean it's not continuous anywhere, but kind of our biggest example of jump discontinuities would be piecewise functions. Okay, so we might have a jump discontinuity there. And we'll talk about other ones later. But an example of a really crazy function that's not continuous everywhere, we can define this, we'll call it f of x. It's going to be a piecewise function where it's 1 if x is rational and 0 if x is irrational. And this is a crazy thing to think about, but it's actually a theorem in math that between any two rational numbers, numbers that can be written as fractions or their decimal repeats or stops, there's an irrational number. And between any two irrational numbers, there's a rational number. So this function is kind of jumping infinitely fast between 1 and 0. So it's not continuous anywhere. You can't really even graph it. So it's a pretty crazy function. It's not one you're going to come across very often, but it is a function that you could define that wouldn't be continuous anywhere. So the point of this video was to show you that many of the functions you've dealt with, learned about, you'll see more here, are continuous functions.